Hi everyone, I'm here with Gray Shear, the Director of Community Relations at Blue Ridge Electric. Gray, great to have you here. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
I tell you, let's first of all talk about Blue Ridge Electric because you guys have done so many things. You do so much for our community and everything. Just tell us, if you would, just a cross-section of some of the things you guys do.
Well, I always tell people I have the best job at Blue Ridge because I get to give away things. And we give away a lot of scholarships. We work with a lot of youth to help them develop leadership skills. We work with teachers, work with schools, work with hospitals. We just try to be involved because we're started by our members and we're still here to exist to make life better for our members.
Yeah, you have 74,000 members. Well, you have Avery, Watauga, Ashe, Allegheny, Wilkes, Caldwell, Alexander. You're throughout our whole area, aren't you?
Basically, 79 years ago, this past May, we started because the investor-owned utilities stopped in Lenoir and they stopped in Wilkes County and didn't want to come to the mountains.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got started.
Yeah, you're in Allegheny County there also, and so it's tremendous what you all do. And over the years, you were telling me that Blue Ridge Electric has given away nearly $500,000 of scholarships to high school students going to college.
Every summer we award college scholarships, usually $1,000, $2,000 to students going to a four-year school. We have some scholarships going to two-year schools. And we've been doing that for years, and the program we're going to talk about today is an offshoot of that.
Yeah. So tell us about, you came up with this idea with Leadership Track, and I think it's a fantastic idea. And tell us how you came to realize this was the way that you guys wanted to move forward this past fall when you started it.
Well, it's kind of complex, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. But we've been giving away these scholarships, like we just said, for years, and it's kind of like a give it and forget it. And we give away a $2,000 scholarship, and the student goes off to school. We never hear from them again. That's okay. That's the way most scholarships work.
Yeah.
They're not renewable, so there's no reason for them to stay in touch with us. But we started seeing with some of our youth programs, our leadership programs, one of them specifically is the Washington Youth Tour. The more we worked with the students, the more they became involved with us and learned about us and were interested in Blue Ridge. And we've seen some students come back do internships with us. We just hired one recently, an intern. We've seen one of our students we gave a scholarship to has come back to Ashe County and now owns 2 funeral homes and now is a business leader. And so we really see the value now of these students that we're trying to help along are coming back and becoming local leaders. So that's where the leadership track came from. We started the Blue Ridge Electric Leadership Track this year, and we're trying to help get more involved with students from the sophomore year, stay with them sophomore, junior, senior year in high school, and maybe even through college. If we give them a scholarship, we want to stay in touch with them and perhaps invite them back to be an internship, maybe to get a job.
I think it's a tremendous idea because, as you mentioned there, the scholarships are usually given and then you don't stay in touch with them. But with a fantastic organization like yourselves, to stay involved with them, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and then even on once they get into college, is a tremendous opportunity for these young people.
And as you and I talked, I have a young daughter that's just started college, and I see the value of what a resume can do, and I see the value of what they could do in school, outside of school, to get those leadership opportunities that impress schools, impress scholarship committees, and that's what we're trying to do, is help the students get into college, do well in college, get scholarships to do what they want.
And I was faced with the same thing. You and I talked about it before, and that's what I think is so exciting about this, is as a parent, you really don't have any idea, especially when it's your first child that goes, you really get thrown in the deep end, and there's so much to it now that we didn't have to do when we were going to school, and now suddenly we're being thrown into doing it, and by the time we kind of learn it, we're probably a little bit, we're past later than we would have liked to have been able to know that.
Giving away scholarships for 15 years at Blue Ridge, I thought I knew a lot, but when I started working with my daughter, she's applying for them, I learned a lot, and that's what I think was part of helped get this leadership track going, is that there's a lot of stuff out there students don't know and parents don't know.
Yeah, and your daughter did extremely well, didn't she, down at Queens, and got a full scholarship down there?
And it was really based on her interview skills and resume. She did fine in high school, but she wasn't in the top 10% of her class. But she was invited to interview for scholarships and ended up getting a full scholarship.
And there's so much to it. I mean, a lot of times people think of it like, if you're playing sports or you're in a club or you're doing, and you look at that, but there's so many things colleges look at now, don't they?
Right. They want a student that's well-rounded, that, the interview process, I talked to so many students about the interview process, and they're all scared. As long as they can make the interview pleasant for the interviewer, it's going to be a great interview, and that's what they need to think about, just make it a conversation.
Yeah. And it is tremendous, and so many hours that they put into it. And one of the things that I love about what you guys are doing is, leadership track. I mean, and you're helping them to get into leadership type roles. And you mentioned to me before before we were talking here on the show, was that a lot of times youngsters will go off and spend a lot of hours, doing something in the community, but they don't really have necessarily something they can really call it, that they can, whereas if you're putting them in roles of leadership, that really is something that colleges look for, don't they?
Right. A lot of students put in hours. They love to tell you how many hours they volunteered over the summer, did one thing or another, but they need to think about how that's going to look on paper. The hours aren't what's impressive, it's what you did during those hours. So don't just list the hours, say what you did, explain it, and try to find a way to make it unique. If you're working with a humane society, talk about how you started an adoption program, or you went to the mall and did something to try to help the dogs that were at the shelter, something besides just marking hours.
Yeah. And so now you guys have come up with this tremendous program with this leadership track that is going to be January 24th, Sunday, January 24th at Watauga at your offices on 421 here in Boone. Then on January the 31st, which is the following Sunday up in Ashe County. Right. And you can have these workshops, aren't you, which is going to be tremendous.
Well, we learned about this company called Scholarship Gold, and a lot of the counselors, I know Jane Rogers here at Watauga High knows about them. They've been providing consulting services to students for years. But they've got a really good workshop, and I went to it, and I probably came away thinking, I wish I knew all this information sooner. I didn't really learn that much new, but if I was a new parent doing this for a student, it would be very helpful. So we're offered it for only $25 for the student. Parents can come free. It's normally costs $75, but Blue Ridge is going to write $50 of that. But it's a 3-hour workshop, and I think the students will get a lot out of it. They'll get a nice little notebook that's got lots of information, sample letters, sample resumes, great websites to go to, a lot of reference material. They'll get that for free. We'll even give them a t-shirt for the leadership track. But it's a wonderful opportunity for the students to start taking responsibility for themselves and learn how it takes to get into a good college of the choice and hopefully get a good scholarship.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous idea, and all of us parents would have greatly benefited from that. I know I sure would have. But normally $75, and you guys are covering the $50 of it for the cost through Blue Ridge Electric Leadership Track program. But then it's $25 for youngsters to come. But then, as you mentioned there, they get a workbook. They get all sorts of things from that, and some of the things that are covered. We'll just go through a few of the points, and you really. You know all about this, but like writing a strong resume, and that's a key factor, isn't it? But also, I know that in some of the teaching that I've done, that finding the best fit college and getting a major that you want to explore careers. A lot of times, youngsters don't really know when they're trying to look for colleges what college really does fit with them. They kind of just pick it off of reasons that aren't really the right reasons.
That's true, and I saw that with my daughter. But also, I think what's important is that they might not go to the college that could be a good fit because they think they can't afford it. And I think they should just pick a school they think would be what they want to do, if they want a big school or a small school or a location, and go for it. And don't shy away because of cost, because there could be scholarship dollars there.
Yeah, you're right. And there's a couple things there's some of the things that are covered. You even talked about going to Yale or going to Harvard and not having to pay. And you mentioned 200 schools that you can get in for free, without any cost, a full scholarship based on one test score, I think.
And I don't know that much about that. That's what they're learning in the class. But like I had a niece that went to Stanford, and when my daughter was looking for colleges, she said, look for out here. Now, I don't think my daughter could have gotten in Stanford, but if the income level was right and she had the grade level, she could have got a full scholarship, because I think it's $125,000 a year at Stanford. Yale, Harvard might be $100,000. So if you've got the grades, there's schools out there that will take you.
Yeah, and what you mentioned earlier about your daughter when she got the full scholarship there to Queens, interview skills, and that's something else that'll be covered in this, won't it?
Very much so, yeah. I think that one of the most important things we talked about is there's a sample letter in this package, and it's for renegotiating a scholarship. And a lot of students, that's something I never thought about ever. But if you think about a lot of these schools, a lot of private schools offer a lot of scholarship money on the acceptance letter. I work with a lot of parents right now that their daughters and sons are getting scholarship offers or acceptance letters, and there's a scholarship offer attached. It might be $10,000. That sounds impressive, but they still got to come up with $25,000 more. So they've kind of written that school off. Well, if they really like that school and the school's a good fit, this letter will help them know that this is what you should write and this is when you should send it when it's time to commit to schools. All the people who got that scholarship that didn't accept it, that money's coming back. So there's more money there for them to offer. So if your student says they want to go, they probably can offer a lot more money.
Oh, yeah, that's tremendous. And also we covered about how you can earn scholarships even as early as, what, the 9th grade onwards.
Yeah, there's a lot of scholarships out there, and this notebook will give you a list of lots of, there might be small scholarships, but you can start applying early. Write essays, things like that. If you're a good writer, there's a lot of scholarships out there based on writing.
Yeah, so a fantastic opportunity. It's going to be January 24th, a Sunday, both of them Sunday on the dates there, January the 24th, 3 to 6 p.m. at the Blue Ridge Electric offices there on 421, and then on the Sunday, January the 31st, 3 to 6 p.m. again up at your Ashe County office. And if you would tell everyone where the address
That's
is.
on Highway 163. If you're heading into Ashe County, instead of turning left to go to town and we're McDonald's, you turn right, and we're down the road about a mile and a half down the road. Can't miss us. And that's really set up for Allegheny and Ashe students, but if somebody from Boone can't make the first one, and on that Sunday the 24th, they can go to the 31st. It doesn't matter, they can come from anywhere.
And so if somebody would like to, you're urging people to try to apply and sign up for it before January the 15th. But so if they wanted to do that, how would they go about it?
Well, hopefully you have the address that they can sign up on the screen here, or they can call me at 828-759-8994, and I'm glad to talk to them. We will take, if we have space, we'll take admissions all the way up to the day of. I had the 15th as a cutoff, so I could make sure I could plan for that.
Yeah, so they could go with a tiny URL. That's
Yes.
We have that there on the screen, tiny URL there. If you want to go there to sign up for it, but you can also give Gray a call. And we have the telephone number there up on the screen also there for you.
And parents are free.
Yeah.
So the student pays, and the parents get to come for free. And you can bring both parents or just one, but the students will be at the front of the class, and the parents will be in the back, and it's a good way to learn.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, the parents, I'd learn a whole lot watching that. And you talk about going there and spending a few hours in an afternoon at a very minimal cost of $25. Plus you get everything else. You get, as you mentioned, a T-shirt, and you get the workbook and everything like that. That's going to help you down the road. But I mean, you could be talking tens of thousands of dollars saved down the road and getting your son or daughter to the right school. I mean, that's just priceless, really.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of money out there, and there's a lot of opportunities.
And if somebody was interested in the leadership track, because I think it's fantastic what you've come up with here, with yourself and Blue Ridge Electric, began in the fall of 2015. But if somebody was interested in doing that, what would a student do?
They should there's some information on our website, blueridgeemc.com, about the leadership track. That's a brand new program started this year. And we have students in all 4 of our primary districts involved, and we're trying to let the students help recruit additional students. We've actually been into the cafeteria at Watauga High, and our leadership track students here help man that booth and help attract upcoming sophomores and juniors to participate. It is an application process, no cost to it whatsoever. It's a simple application based on an essay and some letters of recommendation. But we're going to accept everybody, but we're going to ask you to do some leadership track things, track your own progress, and really what you're doing is building a resume, but you're also staying into the requirements of the leadership track.
I tell you, I think it's fantastic what you guys do at Blue Ridge Electric. Tell us again about with your Washington Youth Tour. What the students do when they get up there.
Well, the Washington Youth Tour has been going on for 25 years now, and it's always, we only could afford to really send one student per district. It's a very expensive trip. We put them on a bus and send them to DC for a week. But we started turning it into a speech competition. And I believe I was on the show a few years ago with Nicole Fox from Boone, and she was the local winner that year. Well, she is actually the one who we hired as an intern to come back and help me build this program. I needed that youth perspective. I'm getting kind of old. And so she helped me out a whole lot. She's been great. I would have had her on with me today, but she's on vacation. She goes to East Carolina now. But we have these students do a speech competition, and we have them compete locally with their students, their peers, and the peers help judge who's the best speaker. And whoever they judge is who we send to DC, one from each district. They get a $500 scholarship from us, and then that speech, when they get to Raleigh, before they go to DC, they're competing again with the same speech topic for a $2,000 scholarship. And there's some wonderful travel opportunities additionally to that. And so that process of working with Nicole and working with the other youth tour students to help them prepare for that showed us that relationship building, that what advantage that could be. So I learned so much about Nicole. She learned so much about Blue Ridge. It was a natural fit to call her back, come back to work for us.
Yeah, I tell you what, as you mentioned, it must be tremendously fulfilling for you to be in this position that you get to do so many positive things for our community.
It is really rewarding when you see these students come out and they're adults now and they're doing really well in the community. Like I said, the student in Ashe County, and there's just lots of good examples of that.
And Blue Ridge Electric as an organization must be very proud of all of this, the programs that they have in place here.
One of my students in Allegheny County won the national competition for that speech. It's the only one from North Carolina's ever won.
Golly.
And he met his future wife in D.C., and I just got an announcement for his wedding the other day.
Oh, really?
He lives in Nashville, Tennessee now, but I take pride in that.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And for him to still be so close to you that he sends you an
Yeah.
invitation for that. I mean,
I told him I should be his best man.
because you set him up there with
Yeah.
the trip to Washington. But that's fantastic. But you guys do so much, and Ray, we thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for Blue Ridge Electric, what you guys do for our communities, because you're so involved and you do such a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. Like I said, it's a great job I have. We do a lot of things for the community, but it's just really giving back to the community is our sole purpose.
Yeah, fortunate. 74,000 members, Blue Ridge Electric, and Gray, along with all the people there at Blue Ridge Electric, really take care of their members and take care of our communities because of those members. So remember, January 24th, Sunday, January 24th, and Sunday, January 31st. The 24th starts at 3 o'clock. They're at it's at the Watauga office, the Boone office here for Blue Ridge Electric, and that's over on 421. And then on Highway 163 up in Ashe County is the 31st. Also starts at 3 p.m., 3 to 6 p.m. And if you want to get signed up, we've got the address that you can go to, the URL address there you can go to. You can also give Gray a call, and Gray is 1-800-451-5474, extension 3294 is what we have up there on the screen, and so that would be a great opportunity to meet you or talk to you, and you'd be happy to help them however you could, wouldn't you?
I talk to parents and students every day.
Yeah. That's great. But I think it's tremendous. Leadership Track, Blue Ridge Electric, doing so much for our community. Just fantastic what they do for us, and just another great idea that Gray and all of his people have had here at Blue Ridge Electric. And the Leadership Track, if you want to be interested, get involved in that, you can always go to blueridgeemc.com, the website, to try to find out more about both the Leadership Track and also about these workshops that are coming up on the 24th and 31st. I urge you to attend those, because as parents, it can really help you a lot and make a huge difference in your child's life for the future. Thanks, Gray. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. It's been great. And we'll be back with more of the Mountain Television Network.